Welcome to Love and Money with Barbara Treadwell, where we explore the deep connection between our money and the people we love. Hello, it's Barbara Treadwell with Love and Money. And those of you who have been watching know that I had a son, Terry, who was severely mentally and physically disabled. And I've had a couple of shows on this theme. One was about the adult disabled child at home. We had another one for Matthew Johnston, who's a success story with Down syndrome. And then I discovered and created a guaranteed lifetime income program for adult disabled children. So Marjorie Young told me about Chris Brand, and then she took me to a Rotary meeting so that I could meet him in person on purpose. And I was so excited to hear his story. So I want you to know him and hear about what he's doing with this company, which is FODAC, Friends of Disabled Adults and Children. Chris has been in the disability world for the whole 30 years of his career, and he's created this program which gets gently used medical equipment to people who need it. And he's in all 50 states, 5 territories, and something like 69 countries. I mean, it's an amazing program. It's the most exciting thing I've heard about lately. So I want you to welcome and meet Chris Brand. Hi, Chris.
Thank you so much, Barbara. I know, really an honor to be here with you today to tell our story.
Well, how did you get started? That's a great start.
That is a great start. I know that goes way back for me because I've been here, of course, 30 years at this organization. This nonprofit has just changed my life when I was introduced to it. And I was introduced by a family that I grew up with whose son had muscular dystrophy. So much like you, your family changed your life in so many ways. Your son and this family I grew up with, their son had muscular dystrophy, and so since I've been 3 months old, we've been best friends until he passed away when I was a teenager. But that whole family experience growing up and going to the telethon since I've been 1 and 2 year old every year, and being a part of that Muscular Dystrophy Association events and that whole community that it opened up to me, and just seeing how other families struggled much worse than the one I was in, with the being raised with. And so just seeing so many of those challenges with getting equipment, your house doesn't work for you, your car doesn't work for you, and it's just everything's a struggle. I just love being introduced to this organization that is immediately making an impact in people's lives, taking away those barriers and those burdens from people without, and no cost at all to them. So yeah,
So tell me a couple of instances, like give me a couple of stories about what you've done and how it's worked.
Oh, well, yeah. So it's primarily, durable medical equipment that we're touching to help people with, but our mission is to help with physical needs for people with disabilities. So, glorify God by doing that. So it's a little bit of a faith-based mission. And I mean, there's just been so many different individual stories where someone has told us in the lobby they're here to help their brother who'd been through a life-changing injury. And she said later on, she told us, I had to go to the bathroom to cry out loud. It was just that much of an emotional release in our lobby, So, parents are often people in that lobby are facing so much stress, as you know, and with life changes and financial challenges. And to have someone say, here's a $10,000 item, or here's $2,500 item, there's no copay, you don't apply at all for this. You walked in, you told us what you need, and we're going to help you. And so those things are just awesome to do.
I should say so. And how in the world did you get started globally? I mean, where did that happen?
That is we had always been, since our founder started 40 years ago, helping missionaries with small amounts of equipment or a few wheelchairs that they're taking overseas. But that changed under my tenure to be more containers, entire containers, that we would give to agencies who are willing to ship them internationally. And so now that's at least 12 a year that we have excess. We have just grown our volume so much that we have more than we can use in the States. And so we give many, many items that we can't use, make sure they stay out of the landfill. They're going to go help someone somewhere. And then occasionally we'll help with some deep impact partners of ours, and we'll manage that international shipment, like to Ukraine or to Turkey or to India. And those are all with strategic partnerships that we've developed over the years.
And I hear you're going to Saipan, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's a U.S. territory, but it's closer to the Philippines than Hawaii. Yeah.
It's a long way away. I have
It is
tile from my home on the Philippines. It took a year to get here.
exactly. Yeah, I'm going back to help deliver and distribute 44 pallets and about 35 boxes of oxygen equipment that's already been sent that will be arriving next week. And so we are, all the other recovery folks have left the island. A terrible typhoon wiped them out, and most people don't know about it, but it's a U.S. territory. And we feel a real obligation to help because we have seen how bad it is as far as accessing this equipment on those islands. So we want to help wherever we can. When FEMA calls us and our disaster relief partners call us, we want to step it up and make it happen.
So these are all success stories. What challenges do you face?
So challenges are always, we are the biggest in the country in what we do because it is challenging to do.
Yeah,
It takes a it takes it
I
takes
can't
a
imagine.
it takes a lot of manpower to collect this gently used equipment, and then it takes manpower to fix it, repair it appropriately, and training, sanitize it, and then all the staff that it takes to accept requests and make sure that we're matching it up specifically for someone. That's 10,000 requests that we match a year, and we get many more requests than that we can't fill. And then there's thousands of items that go in just the disaster relief funnel and international funnel. So another almost 100,000 supplies and items go with those other directions. So the flow and managing all those items in the warehouse as they come through, it's a huge amount of of logistics and management. So yeah, the challenges are logistics and space and staff, and more staff that we needed, and volunteers, the more volunteers that we need. Funding can change all of that and make all of that easier and multiply. So
Yeah,
funding is from a not 501c3 is also, we have to raise all that money instead of charging people for this equipment. So that's
I should say.
yeah.
And getting the word out, that too. So you're having an event
Yeah.
in Savannah soon, right?
Yes,
Tell me about
yes.
that.
That is exciting because Savannah has been such a success story. That's our first branch that we opened up with our own bricks and mortar. We have 15 partners around Georgia that request items from us that we send items to, that they deliver to their communities in South Carolina. But then we have partners around the country that we can tap into in disaster relief, or we can partner with. But having our own first bricks and mortar in Savannah has been exciting, and the outcomes have been terrific. And that event is going to celebrate that. That's our second annual Run, Walk, and Roll, November 14th, out at Lake
Mayor.
Lake Mayor. That's right.
It's like I live on Houston Street and
Lake.
only in New York, and Savannah is at Houston. In
That's right.
Texas, everywhere else it's Houston. So
Houston. That's right. I had to get it right.
yeah, exactly. So run, walk, and I guess roll are wheelchairs, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And we invite our clients to come out. It's a great time for people who are supporters to see our clients, to get to know them a little, talk with them and about how this organization has made an impact for them. And I enjoyed that so much because I was walking with someone who was a client down there, and they were just telling me this would have cost $6,000, and we just didn't have it out of pocket because there's no resource. And you guys stepped it up, and then you helped me with my mother-in-law way up in North Georgia.
Yeah.
S-
It's November 14th. Is that what you said?
yes, yes,
What time does it
Saturday.
start?
That is in the morning. It's on our website. I believe it's registration's at 9 and the event
Uh-huh.
starts at 10. They will start walking.
And then how
It's
long do you expect it to last?
That'll go through right about noon. It's really a short morning of food, a DJ celebration, and a few client stories, and getting to walk and get some exercise. So we would love to have people participate. And there's a way to do online fundraising as well, that you could look at our website and just
Yeah.
forward an email out to your friends and say, hey, we'd love for you to support me at this event.
Is that FODAC.org?
Yes,
Very
exactly.
simple.
FODAC.org.
Well, I will certainly be there walking, and I do want you to know that the last time you saw me, I was in a big fancy boot.
That's right.
And the boot came off Monday, so I'm going to donate the boot. But in addition to the boot, I'm going to donate something that goes along with it called a riser. It's the simplest thing, but you just attach it to the other shoe so that you're at the same level and you're not walking like this.
Yes, it doesn't hurt your back or your legs.
No, it's great. So I'll bring both, size 7.
That's great.
I'll take them to the center for you. It's a small donation, but it's in very good shape. And I'm going to be able to walk normally again, so that's good.
That's good.
Would you describe some of the equipment? I think people have no idea what you're talking about. When you say a pallet, like what were on those pallets?
Right. So the pallets are meeting specific needs of folks over there. That could be wheelchairs, could be brand new chairs. Amazon donates $25,000 worth of orders that we can that we don't have in our warehouse. So half of the shipment's all brand new. Hospital beds brand new, wheelchairs brand new. Lots of great equipment. And then we have some of our items as well on there. But it's everything from rollators, the walkers with wheels, crutches, canes, Hoyer lifts. We have iPads on there for kids for speech devices because our assistive technology is part of our umbrella.
That's great.
Yeah. And there's all kind of autistic type earphones. There's just a number of different things that we do to support all disabilities in our relief. So it's just super exciting, to be over there and have our local Savannah friend with us doing some film and distribution with us. So he's we got 3 of us flying out on the 5th July coming up. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I will absolutely be there. What's the strangest request you've ever gotten for equipment?
Oh, I would say more rare, that not as much strange as much as rare that we rarely see donated. They're like a patient lift recently. We just don't seem to get those in our pipeline for someone who's fallen and their caregiver can't pick them up. They're very useful to help someone get back up instead of having to call 911 to help get them off the floor. There, but there's emergency evacuation carts for people with disabilities that need to be in certain high-rise buildings if the elevators don't work. There's a number of, odd one-off items that we just never see, but they're very, very helpful, for someone who needs them.
I know that your website has a place to donate, so people should know about that too, FODAC.org.
Yes.
What about government funding? I'm going to go back to the funding question because I know it must take a small fortune to operate your business. But there must be grants and some government funding. I'm sure, except that I know a lot of government funding has dried up. I know that in the home where my son lived, they're scrambling right now because a lot of their funding has gone away.
Yes. No, it's a great question. And next fiscal year, starting July 1, we had 2 pots of funding disappear from us as well. That one was federal appropriations. We built a great relationship with our senator with a successful first-time use of those funds. And we would have been eligible to apply again, but the whole pot of funding was constrained now going to next year. So we can't apply now. But that would have been several $100,000 to help us with our statewide growth and initiatives.
That's a big loss.
Big loss. And then the state budget, they put us in and it got cut because they overloaded the budget and gave it to the governor. And the governor had to cut things to balance the budget. And we were one of them. So that's a terrible loss because every state dollar for us can be matched federally by the AT Act, the Assistive Technology Act. If it goes through a certain state agency, it can be matched before it comes to us. So that was a terrible loss of several $100,000 more. And it's about $3 million budget we have. There's most reuse places like us around the country are a very small group of people with a small space, and they're doing the best they can. And we love giving more training and support to those programs to help them to do more to serve populations we can't touch in other states, on a daily basis, because it's a stretch. We're mostly in disaster relief when we're helping other states and delivering that, but everyday needs, people have to have a loved one pick it up from our Savannah or Tucker headquarters or Griffin and then take it to someone. And a lot of times people are willing to do that for very expensive children's equipment or complex rehab power chairs that are $40,000, $60,000, so they're willing to do that and take it to New York or Kentucky or wherever for an individual. So that's kind of how people access it. They can either pick it up from our facility or have a loved one pick it up, or we're delivering it in massive quantities in disaster relief.
I find that especially in this day and age where we see a lot of greed and graft, that to be able to do something good in the world for people who need the help
Yeah,
is it's the best feeling in the
it
world. And
it
I
is.
I really hope that you get a great crowd out at Mayor for November 14th, because that it's just a wonderful thing to do something for somebody else,
Yeah,
especially somebody in need. There's
it
nothing quite like it. I'm
yeah.
very highly credentialed. I have a lot of initials after my name, and I did get a designation in charitable giving. And I was so surprised. And actually, it was the tax aspect that I was studying. The tax code is horrible. I mean, it's 10 times as difficult as the normal tax code. But what I found is that people didn't give for the deduction; they gave
Oh,
for the experience of helping
yeah,
other people. And
that's
even
right.
the smallest gift in the world times a million can add up to a million plus. And so I'm just
Yeah.
encouraging people to, anybody who's had to take care of anybody who had a piece of medical equipment knows what I'm talking about. Even that
Yeah.
darn boot. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, what I can do and what I can't do. And I'm able to get around, but now
Yeah.
people did get out of my way in the airports, but, you know, want to help me along, little lady
Only
with gray hair. But
only a little helpful.
so, yeah, but it was nothing compared to what I see people going with. I just,
Yeah.
it's the heart and the spirit of the people who were wearing the boots and in the wheelchairs and in the beds that just,
Yes.
it's so inspirational that they're not
Yes.
complaining or feeling sorry for themselves, or, we have nothing to complain about. We just
Yes.
have to look around.
Yes, that is part of my joy so much, is to see people through a transition of their life that they think
Yes.
this is the end of my life, and instead they come through the other side and they're stronger and people listen to them more. They have a soapbox to stand on that they did not have before. You were just average, you fit in with everyone else before. Now you have a story that people will pay attention to more. It really is an odd thing how that works out that way, and we love to see it. We're helping people become national speakers that come through our programs that are disability leaders, or their story is now inspirational to so many people. So is that we love that aspect.
Yes, it's very,
Mhm.
I watched a little reel, things come up on my phone that I don't ask for, they just show up. And it was an AGT episode. And the man introduced himself, and then he walked outside. So the cameras went outside to see what he was going to do. And he climbed up on this bunker and took off his leg. And
Right.
then he continued to do the most unbelievable acrobatics on things like railings and ceilings. And he was just jumping
Uh-huh.
and flying through the air, and then came
Yeah.
back into the studio. And I mean, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. I was crying. It was just so moving to
Yeah.
overcome that disability. And he wasn't born that way. He came from a farming community in
Oh, wow.
Spain, and a tractor ran over him.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
he prevailed, and now he's
Mhm.
flying through the air, doing wonderful things and making me cry in my kitchen at 7 o'clock. But it was so inspirational. I thought, I love it that I'm constantly reminded that I
Yeah.
have nothing to complain about. I
I
think
know.
it's good.
Oh,
And
I
I'm sure you
know.
see that every single day. So
All the time.
thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
I'm so glad to know you, and I'm so proud of what you're doing, and I'll be following you with great joy.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it and getting to
You're
share a
so
story with
welcome.
you. Thank
You're so
you.
welcome. Bye-bye.
All
See you
right.
in November.
Yeah, see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining me on Love and Money with Barbara Treadwell. I hope today's conversation gave you something to think about as you navigate your own financial and personal journey. You can also visit barbaratreadwell.com to learn more about my work and connect with me. See you on the next episode.
The views expressed in this podcast are not necessarily the opinions of Barbara Treadwell, LLC, and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities or services mentioned herein. Unless otherwise specified, show guests are not securities licensed or affiliated with Barbara Treadwell, LLC, or Osaic Wealth. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should only be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic Wealth Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Osaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth.